In this edition of Reshape 333, I want you to consider one extremely important shift that will be necessary for your church to begin to re-motivate and re-engage volunteers for the next ministry chapter. And I want to do it in the next 333 seconds, or maybe 345. Let's get at it. Both of my grandfathers served their country in World War II. One owned a small neighborhood grocery store in St. John, New Brunswick, and he signed up in a more administrative military position. The other pastored a large church in the same city, and he signed up as a chaplain in the forestry division. Their generation was known as the silent generation. They were raised during a period of war and economic depression. They were citizens more than anything else. When their country called, they responded. When their country asked, they signed up. There was a deep sense of duty. There was a sense of otherness, a sense of doing what is important to protect my country and to care for my neighbor. Following the silent generation came the boomer generation, and in much the same way, boomers were citizens. They inherited that value, a love for country and a commitment to their neighbor. They were workers who would do whatever was asked whenever it was asked. And community organizations and businesses and churches benefited from their commitment. Volunteerism and serving was a value deep, deep, deep in their soul. But following World War II, something shifted. The government's posture increasingly became, our role is to keep things balanced. Our role is to work towards a peaceful country. Our role is to govern the nation. You look after you. Work hard, earn a living, create opportunity, build the economy, find success. So in the later 60s, 70s, and 80s, and in fact up until today, we cultivated what's become known now as the consumer generation. It became about comfort, accruing, success, us. There was less other, more me. There was less country, more myself. There was less citizen, note the word, more consumer. It became ingrained in us. It became a value that we hold. For 6 decades, that has been the driving force. It shaped us into what we call unapologetic consumers. And then 2020 hit. March, the pandemic. And should we be surprised that at that time there was some friction, because for generations we'd been taught to be consumers. For 60 years we were taught that it's about us, that our comfort is primary, our needs most important. And then in the blink of an eye, we were now asked to shift back from being a consumer back to being a citizen. It's not about you, the government said. It's about others. It's not about your individual good. It's about the good of a nation. It's not about your pleasure. It's about protecting your neighbor. Now, I don't want this in any way to be seen as political, to descend into some sort of government overreach rabbit hole. But what I want you to consider is this. Did the pandemic challenge us to reconsider what it means to move away from a consumeristic posture, what I want and when I want it, and challenge us to consider a 60-year return to a citizenship posture? What is best for you, and how can I love and serve you? And so the question for the church is, could one of the gifts of the pandemic, in fact, be a challenge to embrace the words of Jesus, who said that he did not come to be served, but he came to serve? And could it be that the challenge upon you and me today is also the same? How can we serve more deeply? What, in fact, could that look like? Mark Sayers at Red Church in Melbourne, Australia, says that their teaching now is all about inviting people to join a remnant church, to join those who are left, maybe those who have not yet returned, and to become followers of Jesus, committed to a movement to change the world by giving themselves away to others. He says it's not popular. It's not trendy, but is the counterculture call of Jesus in a consumer day. It's a deep calling to join a remnant of people that are committed to the mission of Jesus and committed to his values, to be a true citizen of heaven. So how does that relate to finding volunteers, the ones that are needed to serve your community, the ones that are needed to serve in your church? Well, what if you focused some of your teaching in the next little while around the theme recovering citizenship? Your sermons could focus around a number of citizenship values that are found in Jesus' nation. And obviously service and serving is one that is core. Or maybe some short video pieces that could serve as weekly devotionals or discussion prompters for small groups to consider, a call to the deeper life of citizenship in Jesus' nation? Or could you create a discipleship strategy in your church that invites people to join a remnant of Jesus followers, that moves them from being a consumer to being a citizen of heaven? Don't click away. There are some questions for you to consider, and perhaps some good leadership conversations that could follow. Have some fun with the questions.